You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. So if you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Echo, Carl's Path. So guys, let's go ahead and jump right back into it. Please sit back and enjoy for the next 18 minutes while I entertain you, and let's jump right in. Alarm sound, you're up, and let's go. Okay. Yeah, Jenna just got yanked. Jenna! My voice rises in panic as I see her get yanked a second time. Raven automatically steps up next to her and grabs her arm. A third yank almost pulls him off his feet. I run over to help and wrap my arms around Jenna's waist to get a better grip. Another jolt and I'm able to feel the power of whatever has a hold of Jenna on myself. What's happening? I hear a thudding and rustling in the stove, like something's turning over angrily and repeatedly. The image of some kind of caged animal passes through my mind and it sends chills up my spine. No, you fucking don't! I look up at Jenna and I notice that she doesn't look scared at all. Instead, she looks pissed off, her lips drawn back in a snarl, teeth bared viciously. She's talking to whatever's in the stove. I feel the muscles in her body tensed up and writhing under my hands as she twists to get free. I look around her body at Raven. His face, in contrast, is a mask of horror. Raven! His eyes widen, his wide eyes snap to mine. Get a grip round her body and we'll pull out at the same time! He briefly lets go of Jenna's arm to lean down on her, either side, and wrap his arms around her waist. Okay, on 3. 1, 2... Another yank and suddenly Jenna's upper half is pulled into the stove. I lose my balance and fall back on my butt, knocking my head against the metal stove. My eyes water and I let go with one hand, desperately rubbing at the back of my head while I loosely keep a grip on Jenna with the other. Chase! Raven's actually sliding into the fireplace himself at this point. I try to get my bearings and pull myself back up next to Jenna, but at that point something big and bulky comes barreling into the room. My vision clears just in time to see the big ram reach in for Jenna's body, practically pushing Raven aside. His horns clang loudly against the stove as he wraps his arms around Jenna's body and pulls back with all his 270 pounds behind it. The fox emerges slowly, both of her arms still stuck in the stove, a determined look on her face. Carl lets go for half a second, lunging forward to grab both of Jenna's elbows. He yanks back again, letting out a strained grunt. As her wrists emerge from the stove, I get a glance at black tendrils wrapped around them before those tendrils suddenly disappear. Carl and Jenna are both launched back, Jenna getting a cushioned landing on top of the ram as Carl lets out a loud wheeze. I hobble over to them, kneeling next to Carl as Jenna rolls off of him, eliciting another grunt. She sits up while Carl continues to lay there, his eyes wide. You guys okay? Carl waves a hand at me, rolling over onto his side as he gasps breathlessly. Jenna sits next to him, holding her hands up. I can already see some nasty swelling under the fur covering her wrists. I wince. Jenna, are you alright? I'm fine. She's not looking at her wrists, though. Instead, it's an ash-smudged, folded piece of paper in her hands. From the bits that aren't covered, I can see that the paper is yellowed and ancient-looking. Not at all like the clearly photocopied newspaper we'd seen earlier. Jenna looks down on it, standing up. I hear a groan next to me and turn back to Carl. Can't go a day without getting beat up! I rub his shoulder as I look down at him, smiling. Wow, that was kind of heroic! Carl grunts as he sits up. You think so? Yeah, all at the last second, too. Carl rubs his knees. Would have gotten here earlier if I hadn't tripped down the stairs like twice. He stares at the stove. What the hell was that? I look, too, into the yawning black hole and shiver. Cats, knock it off. Silly kitties. I don't know, it was all black and smoky, like what we saw before. Think it'll come out of the water? I mean, I don't know why I said the water. Think it'll come out of there? Raven suddenly steps in to lift up the stove door, twisting the handles to lock it. He yelps as he does it, jumping back as soon as the deed is done. I chuckle, then look back at Carl. Over his shoulder, Jenna walks into my field of vision. The paper is open in her hands, and she's holding it over the candle. All at once I realize what she's trying to do. I choke on whatever I'm about to say next and leap up awkwardly onto my injured ankle. Jenna! Luckily, Jenna's only about 5 feet away, and I practically fall into her, pushing her away from the candle. We both fall against the bench under the window. Jenna's hand smacks against my nose, bringing tears to my eyes. I yelp as she pulls her fingers in, raking lines of fire down my nose with her claws. Tease. There's a pounding in my ears, and I distantly register that the drums have started up again. She twists out from under me and pulls away from the bench. When the fuck did she get this strong? I numbly keep my grip on her wrists, and she spins, swinging me away from her. I lose my grip and stumble back, stepping wrong on my foot and rebending my ankle the exact same way I did last time. I yelp again, much more loudly this time as I crumple to the ground. Carl swears and jumps over me at Jenna. Wait! I try to grab him by the hoof that's passing over me, but I miss miserably. As I sit up and hear an ungodly bestial snarling and look up to see Carl wrestling kicking and scratching Jenna to the ground. That's fucking it! He pins her there, and while she writhes under him, trying to scratch at his face. Stop it, guys! Raven is still standing off to the side, his paws on his head, pulling at his ears. Raven hasn't done anything! Raven's like the most useless side character. I crawl over to the writhing bodies, one eye wincing shut as each movement sends a lightning bolt through my leg. I grab at Jenna's hands, forcing them down above her head. Jenna, stop! Jenna suddenly kicks one of her legs up between Carl's legs and he kneels over her. Fuck! He crumples over on top of Jenna, lying on her legs as he tries to pin his thighs together. I look down into Jenna's face. Stop it! What the hell are you doing? Jenna snarls up at me, but it's softer this time. Her struggles die down a little, and after holding my gaze for about 10 seconds, she looks away. I relax my grip a bit, gasping as I try to rearrange my foot so there's not so much pressure on my ankle. I don't know. I pull the piece of paper out from her limp fingers and push away from her, waiting to see if she'll come after me again. She doesn't, instead just laying there with her hands above her head, staring at the ceiling. Raven! Raven still with his fingers twisted around his ears, looks over at me. Yeah? Take Jenna upstairs, take a nap or something. I think we need to be kept separate for now. As Raven hurries over to Jenna, Carl rolls off with a groan. Raven's easily able to coax Jenna up off the floor, and they head upstairs, Jenna looking down at the floor all the while. I scoot over to Carl, holding my breath as each drag sends another spasm through my leg. He's on his side, hands between his legs as he squints at the wall. Once he notices me, he looks at my ankle. Fuck, are you okay, man? No, I don't think so. I stepped on it wrong again. God damn it, what the fuck is our problem? It's okay, you're just gonna have to carry me again. Carl chuckles before letting out another softer groan. What did I say about getting beat up all the time? Are you okay? No, she kicked me in the fucking balls! I sit quietly for a moment, the pain in my ankle fading into a more cold electric sting rather than molten lava. What the hell's going on? Why would she try to burn it? Carl is quiet for a moment, then he looks up at me again. You know, right? What? I could be wrong since nothing makes sense here. What? Now, this probably has something to do with James and John. I rub the back of my head again, feeling a bump swelling up already. Didn't we already figure out that that's what's going on? I mean, with Jenna. You know how James was sort of talking to me? Yeah, like he told you what to find. Yeah, but I think something is talking to Jenna, too. John? Maybe. To make you guys fight? Weren't they lovers? Would there be a reason for John wanting this paper not to be read? Carl doesn't say anything, choosing to roll onto his back and lay his hands out to either side of him. I look down at the paper in my hand. Well, should I read this now or wait for the others? Might as well do it now. She might try something again. Alright, I'm going to read it out loud then. Carl waves a hand in the air, indicating that I should go ahead. I scoot back against the wall so that I can stretch my leg out, then start reading. My dearest John, I've been hearing terrible things lately. They say that you've been accusing me of the most egregious monstrosities. I dare not believe them. In fact, I will not until I hear your words for myself. There must be some misunderstanding. Has one of my many political enemies pitted you against me? Are they using the missing native boys as a weapon against my campaign? I would not think that to be below them, but what concerns me most is you. Please visit me at my mansion. We must speak on this. I very much look forward to your company and believe that we can soon set this straight. Yours forever, James. I look up at Carl. He looks back at me. So, what do you think that means? Carl rubs inconspicuously at his crotch. I guess something went wrong between James and John. Well, yeah, but what? It sounds like he tried to frame him or something. I remember the newspaper clipping that had somehow gone up in flames. Hey, that newspaper article that burned up said something about a Meseta kid that went missing. So native kids were going missing, and John used it to get at James somehow? Maybe. We still don't know if John was doing it anyway. James doesn't seem to know either. I wonder if we'd have been better off if Carl had a little bit of James in him right now. At least then we'd have a better idea of what is going on. Maybe. And again, the situation is so volatile with Jenna, I'm kind of glad we don't have another ghost to deal with in Carl. I look at the ram who's in the middle of pulling his waistband out to look in at his junk. If James is still influencing Carl somehow, then he really isn't showing it. You okay? Carl bluntly lets go of the waistband, letting it snap back against his waist. You silly cat. Huh? Yeah, I'm fine. Are your, balls okay? Take care of your balls with the Manscaped 3.0. The Lawnmower 3.0. Carl smiles ruefully. It'd be funny if I can get a man... Man, it'd be funny if I could get, like, a fucking Manscaped sponsorship. That'd be great. Feel like fine. Still kind of hurt. I think about making a joke about making them feel better, but that doesn't really feel appropriate right now. I'm actually more worried about Jenna. It's not just because she could beat me up. Yeah. It seems that at this point, Jenna isn't really Jenna anymore. Should we talk to her about, I don't know, resisting it? It worked for me. I look in the direction of the door as a loud click emanates from it. Car's long ears perk, and he follows my gaze. We both stare at it for a few seconds. Do you think? Maybe? Slowly, Carl gets to his feet, still a little bow-legged, and hobbles towards the door. Careful! I see a little apprehensive that... Oh, 1 second, guys. I think people might be home. Hey guys, sorry about that, I'm back. Alright, let's go. I say, a little apprehensive that something might open it from the other side. Carl doesn't say anything and slowly shuffles towards the door, pausing in front of it for a few seconds. Slowly he reaches out and rests a hand on the handle, then gives it a slight push. It shifts open a few inches. Carl looks back at me. I think we should get the others. We all stand around the door, Carl to my right and Raven to my left. Raven and I making sure there's maximum distance between Jenna and Carl. The door is still shifted open a few inches, and the vertical black void it reveals is a little ominous. So we just go through? I don't know, man. That's what we did last time, right? Yeah. I feel like the real question is if we really want to go through the door in the first place. Is it just going to lead to another terrible place where terrible things happen? I feel a void similar to the one I'm looking at open up in my chest. The thought of being trapped in a loop going through door after door that leads to nothing but horror. Already this place was having an effect on Jenna that seems to be getting worse with each passing hour. How much longer can she keep it together? What did the letter say? I tense up. Anything she does now is putting me on edge, like I'm just waiting for her to lash out again. My hand drifts conspiratorially to my pocket where the folded up letter is. I glance to my right at Carl, but he's got his eyes on the door. A few things, just more history stuff. About what? I decide at that moment that I have to lie. We need to keep Jenna or John calm if we want to get through this. I have a feeling that John wouldn't want to hear about James revealing what I assume are secrets. I didn't read anything about John trying to sabotage James in my research, but maybe that's what James is trying to tell us. So I shrug my shoulders, moving my hand away from my pocket. Stuff about the mine, how there wasn't enough of it to sustain the town. More Jenna might challenge my life for whatever reason. She doesn't say anything, though, and Carl just keeps on staring straight ahead. Raven suddenly claps his hands together, making Carl and I jump. So, should we open it? Raven reaches out. Wait! Nesky pauses and looks back at me expectantly, his black ears tipped forward. Should we do this? I mean, it's probably just gonna lead to another place where we have to find another thing. Yeah? So maybe we shouldn't keep going. I stumble over my words, trying to piece together my feelings, and I put them into sentences as I go. I just think that they're not really on our side, you know? I make an effort not to look at Jenna. So if they're not, why are we doing what they want us to do? I realize I'm shaking now, and I make an effort to make my hands still. That's when I feel something big and warm slide into my right hand, and I glance down to find Carl holding it. He gives me a quick look and a small smile before returning his attention back to the door. What else should we do? Raven's tone isn't accusatory, but it is genuinely curious. I don't have a very good answer. Well, maybe we can find a way back somehow. Maybe we're still in Carl's house right now. Carl's house. That place seems like it's thousands of miles and years away at this point. Maybe we can, wake ourselves up somehow. Raven doesn't respond, and neither does anyone else. I realize how stupid I must sound. Sorry, I just feel like we're taking things too fast right now. Carl gives my hand another squeeze. Hey, dude, we're all a little scared. We can talk about things. Carl looks past me at Raven and Jenna. No rush, I'm actually starting to feel the same way. I feel my cheeks burn on the way I'm holding everyone back because I'm scared. So, when I had that guy in my head, I sort of felt like he was taking us somewhere. Carl runs the hand, not holding mine, up one of his horns, scratching at it. Like an endpoint, you know? Raven fidgets with one of his ears. Like a good endpoint? Yeah, man, I think so. That didn't sound very convincing. You can stay here if you want, Otter. It takes me a second to realize she's talking to me. Is she really that far gone? I just hope that if we reach the end of this, we can get her back somehow. Whoa, Jenna, that's crazy! I cough to clear my throat. No, I'll go. I just wanted to think about it for a second. Have you thought about it then? Yeah. I look at Carl, but he only offers me a shrug and a comforting rub on the shoulder. Well, if that's all then, let's go. Jenna steps forward to grab the door handle, and I bite my tongue to keep from saying we should wait again. The door swings open to reveal blackness, just like last time. Unlike the last time, though, there's a spot of flickering light in the distance. The fire. Everything's quiet right now. No drum beat, but the darkness is unnatural. It's inky and thick, like it's alive. I get the unnerving feeling that it's trying to eat the light from the fire. Maybe towards the fire. Jenna suddenly steps forward, and just like that, she's swallowed up by the darkness. Jenna, wait! She ignores me. Carl gives his shoulders another shrug. Well, if she's being, persuaded, I guess she probably knows where she's going. I see her form pass in front of the firelight a few times, and she's gone. All right, here we go. Despite his nervousness, Raven still sounds cheerful about stepping into oblivion. You ready, dude? I look over at Carl, and he's gazing back at me warmly, an encouraging smile on his face. Dude, I'm reaching my limits, too. If we have to do another place like this... His ears droop, looking almost defeated. I nod, and swallowing as quietly as I can. He pulls me into his side by my hand and wraps my arm around his shoulder. Just stay close, okay? Yeah. I step forward with him, and immediately we're immersed in blackness. Not only do things go dark visually, but the change is physical, too. I don't know if it's all in my head, but I feel heavier, like the darkness is pushing down on my shoulders. It's colder, too, to the point where I can feel the heat radiating off Carl's body when I brush up against him. Doing okay, man? Yeah, you? Yeah, I'm good. The going is slow, and not just because of my injured, probably broken ankle. The ground is uneven and rocky, like we're outside walking in the desert, which I realize is exactly what we're doing when we walk straight into what feels like a sagebrush. Carl thrashes around with the hand not holding on to me, and we're able to sort of stumble around it. Where the hell are we? I mutter as I stub my toe painfully on a rock. Outside? Yeah, but where outside? The desert, right? So, do you think that we're still an echo? Carl's quiet for a moment. Maybe, but not really. I mean, I don't think we can just walk to our houses. I wonder if maybe all the others, TJ, Leo, and Flynn, are out there too, in the darkness. I want to call out, but I'm too nervous that that's going to attract something to us. I still remember the black figure dancing around the fire we're walking towards at this very moment. We're close enough now that I'm starting to be able to make out Carl in the darkness. I look back at the house to see how far we've gone. All that I can make out now are two rectangles of light. One for the door we came out of, and one for the kitchen window. In the latter, a dark figure stands framed by the faint light inside. I squint, not really sure of what I'm seeing. Then it moves, disappearing from the window. I stop walking, and Carl stops with me, looking back over his shoulder. What? Did one of the others go back? The black figure appears again, this time in the doorway of the house. I don't even have time to react to that before it steps forward and the door swings shut with a distant snap. Oppressive blackness takes its place. I grab onto Carl more tightly. What the hell? My mind flashes back to the black thing I'd seen crawling out of the wardrobe. Come on! I nudge into Carl's side, trying to get him to hurry along while resisting the urge to try and run on my twisted ankle. I'm realizing that it might come to that. Raven! Jenna! I call out into the darkness ahead of us, wanting to warn them. Over our ragged breathing, though, there's dead silence all around us, except for a drum beat. Alright guys, I'm gonna pause it right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks or a tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!